All right. Want to welcome everybody to episode 2 of the Prolix RC podcast. John Barron the second with me over here. Hey, I got it right. We got Nicholas Skinner.
What's going on, guys?
So I think today we just kind of wanted to get a quick one in here for this week. We got the Ruhr Region 3 race at Apex this weekend. Just kind of go over what we plan on running, our game plan for the weekend, and see what else comes up. So, Nick, I know, especially after last week, you weren't quite sure if you're going to make it. What's your plan for this
Yeah,
weekend now?
you talked me into it.
Let's go.
I brought my car. Yeah, I brought my cars home to rebuild them, and I got the 12 scale done. I got tires, so I figure I just run one class. Come run 13.5 12 scale, since
Yeah.
the car's already set up for it. So
Even though the flyer said 17.5 12 scale.
yeah, the flyer said 17.5, but when I went to come hang out at the track, everyone locally, from what I heard from other people, if they were traveling here, wanted to run 13.5. So
Yeah.
figure out a front 13.5 so I don't have to dig out a 17.5 motor.
Yeah.
Be a lot easier to just get to the track and throw it down and try not to hit walls.
Yeah, I know our track specifically, everybody runs 13.5 12 scale. Like, I don't know if all the guys that have 13.5 12 scales, if they even own a 17.5 motor anymore. Our big class
Yeah.
being 21.5 Hobbywing touring car, which is actually going to be open this weekend. So I'll be curious to see how many people run a different 21.5 this weekend.
That I'm kind of curious on, especially if anyone shows up with some of the new motives. I'd like to see how the new motives are working. Trying to
Yeah.
save up my money so I can get myself one of the 13.5s.
Yeah. I have one of the 13.5s. It is a beautiful motor. It is absolutely gorgeous. Huge shout out to Paul Lemieux. Dude, he hooked me up.
The tier Trinity out of my car.
Yeah. See, I don't know. I had a bad experience with the new Rev Tech at the Ruhr region, or not the Ruhr region, the Ruhr race last year in F1. The can came unglued or unepoxied and rotated or the windings rotated inside the can. And
Well, it's because you're not a team guy. You don't get those specially, wound motors at the race.
well, I mean, so they fixed it. They have it fixed now. They stamped the can so it won't rotate even if it does, come loose.
Yeah.
Because, dude, like when it rotates, it totally jacks the timing up and down. It's all over the place. You go from having no power to no power.
To next thing you know, you're running way too hot and you burn down.
Yeah. I'm surprised. I'm surprised I didn't. But honestly, Kevin Abbott reached out to me though after I posted about it, and he's like, "Hey man, you send that in, we'll take care of it." It was a known issue with it. I don't know if he said that, but he was like, "Yeah, we'll take care of it." So that was cool of them. They at least fixed it and got me running again. That's also kind of when we had picked up Hobbywing, and we tested the Hobbywing 25.5s, and those things, dude, those are the 25.5 motor to have as far as I know.
17.5 wasn't bad either. I couldn't get the 13.5 to work, but I feel like the other wines are definitely pretty good.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't know if it was us and our equipment at the time. I got something new. I got something new even you don't know about. Are you ready? I don't know if it'll even show up. Here, I'll flip it over. You see something new in my car?
There's a Tekin in there.
Yeah. So
you had to copy me. I said I was going to get some Tekins and try to run Tekins, and next thing you know,
you thought about it.
It's got to copy me. You don't want me to be faster than you, do you?
Dude, so I drove Jackie's Mugen car last weekend after we got done racing. That thing had so much punch, it was ridiculous. It felt like a rocket ship out of the corner. That 21.5 felt like a 17.5. And I'm like, I know the car drives good. Dude, I can't wait because I've been trying to put the one in the 12 scale. I got it almost wired up last night, but that's going in the 12 scale too.
See, and it was weird because, I was having all these I thought were issues.
Yeah,
And
I remember
I
that.
was just off pace, and I was getting new speedos and doing,
Yeah,
trying a bunch of things with the Hobbywing. And I think I tried like 3 or 4 different motors.
right.
Tried rebinding everything. I mean, I tried so many things, but I always just felt like I was just off.
Dude, we
And it
even
was
reset
like,
your radio.
yeah. And then it was, talked to EA and tried some stuff. And, I was talking to my dad, and he's like, screw it, I'll get you one. Go ahead and try it. And this is when I decided not to re-sign up with anyone, and so I
Yeah.
didn't wasn't under contracts anymore.
Yep.
Threw it in there, and it was like the only thing I changed literally was the ESC putting the Tekin in, and all of a sudden I went from being a half a second off of EA to almost being close to EA's time
Yeah.
until I broke the car, and
Well, I mean, as
got the
close as
part from.
anybody can be to EA's time.
I think if I would have paid attention to putting the part on that Kemp let me borrow, and not have the
Yeah.
spring on the inside to where it was wanting to loop out, because I was still running my fast times when I got around the track okay, and the car still was drivable, but it was
Yeah.
hard to drive. But I think if I would have had the spring right and the car was set up properly, I think I
Yeah.
could have got close to, because EA wasn't running away from me at the beginning,
Yeah. Yeah. I mean,
and I
that's a
was
big thing for
somewhat.
12 scale too.
Exactly. And I think it's just, fine tuning everything. I was definitely able to get a lot, so that I was sold on it, just the
Yeah.
power it gives out, especially in 12 scale.
Yeah. And dude, I remember, running off road. I I was a big Tekin hater then, I'll admit it. It was I mean, it's a light switch, and it still feels like a light switch, but I think the difference now is we have so much traction, especially at our track on this black carpet, that the car can handle it. A light switch
Yeah.
isn't a big deal. Like off road, dude, I still love my hobby wing. My hobby wing's still staying in all my off road stuff. I just don't have the same traction like we do here, and I don't
Yeah.
have to worry about it. Dude, my F1, dude, I'm afraid to put a teak in my F1. I think I'll just wheel spin the whole time.
That'd be worth trying though. You got a
Uh,
second one, I know.
yeah, yeah, I do.
So you gotta try your
What,
second one.
dude? But the Exotech F1, dude, that thing makes so much rear grip. It's
I think you'd be all right then.
it might be all right. It might be all right.
The other thing in 12 scale that I found that made a huge difference was when I went to these tires, the XS's from Alti. So
Altis,
they're
yeah.
like equivalent. They're equivalent to like the greens.
Okay.
So what I felt with going to those, especially like on our track, um, it gave more pull out of the corner. So I felt like the car didn't sit in the corner as much. So
Right.
I was running the softs before, and I had good side bite, and I still had decent good corner speed, getting out of the corner. Um, like some of the times the tires were maybe spinning
Yeah.
still a little bit. And then I went to I think I was talking to, I think when Rob Lowe came out here for a race, and we were talking about it, and he was telling me the XSs were equivalent to like the green tires,
Okay.
Jayco greens.
Yeah,
And
Jayco, BSR, CRC, all the same. Yeah, yeah.
yeah, I think so. I still kept the same side bite, but it felt like the car just pulled so much harder out of the corner too.
Okay.
So I think
What
going with
compound were you running before?
they were equivalent as pinks, or
Okay.
magentas, pinks, right?
Yeah.
So it's pink front, magenta rears. So it'd be magentas, I think. Is that what it
No, I'm pretty
is?
sure it's magenta front, pink rear is what we were running.
That's what it is.
At
Whatever. So
least with the
yeah,
Jaycos.
yeah. So it'd be equivalent to like pink rears.
Okay. Do you remember what the compound was called for everybody else that's listening?
I think they were JSs.
Okay, yeah, I think that's right. That sounds familiar.
Oh, I
Dude,
could tell
it
you.
looks like
Okay.
it looked like you just reached out and picked something out of midair, like off the driver's stand or something. Oh, shit, that was the
Dude, man,
best.
I've got magic powers, man.
Oh,
So yeah, they'd be JSs. So J softs are considered pinks. And then
Okay.
the XSs, which are X softs, are considered greens
Okay.
and Alti tires.
Hell yeah. Yeah, I noticed something similar too. Like the pinks were just a little ass end happy in the turn, and it just had a lot more the greens just had a lot more forward bite and got the car out of the turn quicker, which
Yeah,
feels funny saying because, I haven't ran the Tekin yet, but with the hobby wing, I still felt like we were losing speed coming out of the turn.
yeah. But I don't know. I put some different setups on my Awesomatics A12, and I don't know what it's going to do this weekend.
Dude, so I think I posted this online, but right before I took the ESC out and handed that over to my dad for his car. Uh, Dude, my car, it drove like my F1. I was like, "This is
Yeah,
fucking perfect." I can't ask for anything else. So I just hope I didn't screw it up. Put in the new ESC and it weight balances off enough. It's just garbage.
just do what I did. I just copied EAs.
Yeah.
I just literally went in there and copied the exact, bought all the same weight he had, and just placed everything exactly the same in the car.
Well, the only problem with that is he may not be there. He should still be there Friday and Saturday. I don't think they're leaving for snowbirds till Sunday.
You just copy my car then.
Yeah.
My car's almost set up identical to how EA's is.
I think you just took a little more drag brake out, right?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. I don't like a lot of drag brake in my car, especially in 12 scale with the foam tires. I mean shit, we
Yeah.
have so much traction as is, and
Right.
I can't drive as deep into the corner as EA can. And I think that's where EA was definitely beating me a lot,
Yeah.
is he could drive in and get the car to rotate a lot quicker than I can.
Yeah.
Um I'm still trying to be too smooth with it, I think. So I have to back up the corners, which if I run too much drag brake, then it just like almost stops the car for me sometimes.
Yeah, see, I don't know. I think we both drive pretty smooth. Like I get it from two-wheel drive buggy. Where do you get it from? Two-wheel
Trying
drive
not to hit
buggy?
walls. No, try not to hit walls.
Sorry, but I think I get it from two-wheel drive buggy, and like, dude, we had no traction back in the day, so I think that's the only reason why I'm halfway decent at F1. It's you can't just absolutely smash, and I think I need to kind of focus on that with 12 scale and not use drag brake and
Yeah,
try to be smooth with it.
that's what I'm trying to do, but we'll see. We'll see how this weekend goes.
Yeah,
I'm kind of stoked to get back to the track and do some racing.
yeah,
So,
yeah. I know
especially now that
everybody's.
since I live down the street, I don't have to go very
Yeah,
far.
yep.
And if I'm having a bad day, I can just come home real quick.
Oh, have you messed much with your touring car yet? Yeah, that's a no.
Nope. I don't know. With I got some things going on in life right now, and
Yeah,
probably won't get to that till after some things I got to take care of.
yeah, yeah.
Um,
I was just
but
talking
after
about
that,
like going through it because I know we got 800 CST to put in our dampers with the ADCs.
yeah, I was getting ready to, and I was going to go through all that stuff, and I figured I'd focus on just getting ready for this weekend.
Yeah,
And then after this weekend, I gotta figure out what's going on with some other things.
yeah, yeah.
And then after I get that, probably after all that's done and over with, I'll probably rebuild my car and start going through it.
Uh, I mean, one of the big things I noticed, especially with the Awesomatics, is it's real finicky on its weight bias left to right. Not like sitting on the scales, but like the static weight balance left to right. So I went
Yeah, that's
through.
the one thing I think we noticed that we were talking about that one of the last times when I was still coming
Yeah,
to the track.
yeah,
And I think when I tear the car apart and go to put it back together, that's something that I'm definitely going to probably really focus on, is playing with the weight on the car.
yeah.
Because I noticed that was something that was real huge. If I went back to the smaller battery and ran my weight bias like Kemp ran his, the car will go back to being pretty decent again. But
Okay.
trying to run the bigger battery, the heavier battery,
Yeah.
I don't have the weight bias figured out to get it to feel like that was.
Okay.
So I think I'm gonna play with some weight and try to get that figured out.
Yeah. Yeah, I went ahead and got mine set up for the new batteries. Fortunately, EA sold out of all of the new 5800s. You know, everybody getting ready to go snowbirds. What was that?
I said it before. Yeah,
You cut
man,
out all of a sudden.
dude, you gotta be man. It's like waiting for the new game being delivered at GameStop. You got to be in line 4 days before. When he
Right.
says he's got a shipment coming in, you need to pull your ticket and get ready for it.
Well, I mean, he had quite a few, and I was like, "Nah, I'll just wait another week." And I go to look, I was like, "Oh,
So
my my
that's
bad."
what that's what you get for waiting.
Yeah.
Like anything, man. He gets any of the new bodies in, which that's another thing. I'm stoked to try that new Wolverine body.
Oh yeah, yeah. I got one.
Mm.
It's painted up. Holes are marked. Hopefully, I'll get finished mount tonight. I think I'm gonna.
Are you gonna run? You gonna run TC
Yeah.
weekend?
Actually, right now it looks like I'm gonna be running TC, F1, and 12 scale. All three.
You should bring me a renter ride for F1.
I have two cars.
Me a renter ride.
Yeah. I I may have to bring some spare parts because I know uh, some of the stuff in the other car is Wes's. I'm pretty sure Wes is coming. I think he said he'll be here Friday, but
What
I'll have to
electronics in
figure
it?
out. No, I'm pretty sure the electronics are mine. It might be like wings or something like that.
Either
Uh,
way, you
yeah,
get
I don't
you get a
remember.
car you get a car together and let me know. Maybe I'll jump in F1 if we need
Yeah,
more people.
yeah.
Because I know that'll be a class once you get it set up. I won't have to touch it. I can just throw it down and run it.
I mean, the car's already set up.
So it'll give a second class maybe, and I won't have to
Yeah.
really focus on that. I'll just, you know, tell me when to sauce the tires and charge the battery
I don't know about when to charge the battery. That's all on you, man.
right before the run.
Yeah, exactly. Make sure you don't
Well,
go
that's
over
it. I
there up
mean,
over
I don't
voltage.
think the battery games is what it used to be. I think
Dude, I
nowadays with
really
all
don't think it
the
is.
I think the way the batteries are nowadays, I don't think you've got to get all crazy and do the hard discharge and charging and
Yeah,
I think I charge it like 15 to 30 amps and I don't do the hard discharge. I just run it and charge it.
yeah.
That's
Yeah,
it.
the most I'll do with the battery is go out and run a bunch of extra practice laps, or I'll
Yeah,
practice with it twice. I'll get
just kind
done
of wake it up a
racing,
little bit.
put a couple more, yeah, put like 5 more minutes on it after we're done for the round, and then, charge it up from there. I don't and I don't notice a big difference doing the pump and dump. Like, I think it makes everybody feel happy because their IRs get lower, and seeing how you can measure IRs on your charger, people want them as low as possible because that's all you can measure.
And that's if the charger's right.
Exactly, exactly.
I mean, who's to say
It's accurate.
you're not showing like a point 0.9 per cell, but you're technically at a 1.1.
Yeah. Well, I mean, there's anytime you have any type of measuring equipment, even like the temp guns, there's repeatability and there's how accurate it is.
This is
I mean,
true.
you can if
Very
both
true.
of those are off, which happen. I mean, that's why one charger shows like point 0.2 ohms, and then another one will show 5.
Yeah.
And then
Yeah.
the different charge leads you use and how those are set up can affect the readings as well.
That's why I don't know. I feel like with all the manufacturers nowadays, I think it comes down to I mean, I think you got the top ones is what EA's, Paul's, the R1s, and then now Sundapow is really what
Thunderpow's not
everyone's
really
running.
US though.
There's a lot of guys, especially the New York guys, are running it.
Oh, are they? Oh, yeah, yeah,
Yes.
because FJ's importing them.
Yes.
Okay,
So, I
okay.
mean, I think with all of them and the way technology is I mean, I think they're all the same. I think it comes down to how much you want to spend on them, type
Well,
thing.
they really are. I mean, when it comes down to it, at the end of the day, they're all made in 2 different factories, and it's not like, it's not like somebody gets a super special run of like ultra special packs or anything. The manufacturer will come to and say, "Hey, we're doing a run of, this quality of cell. How many do you want?" And I know,
Yeah.
like, personally talking, with EA, he's like, he always gets the top ones, the best ones. And I'm like, it makes sense. He's racing with his own product, so he doesn't want, the cheap shit.
Well, I
He
mean,
wants
but
to
the
be
other side of
competitive,
it is what he does is, I mean, he's able to make that deal where he orders so much at a time
right?
that he's always getting the fresh batteries.
Yeah, that's true
So
too.
he's not getting the ones that are sitting in the warehouse for a little bit,
Yeah,
because he's ordering so many at a time, so he's able to make that deal like, hey man, I'm going to pay you guys X amount of dollars and order an X amount of batteries, every 2 months.
yeah,
And he orders them, sells them out, and he's always got batteries coming in and out.
yeah,
So he's able to make sure he's always got the freshest batteries, which I
yeah,
think is a bigger thing than trying to get the best ones, because you could get the best ones and they might only be good for 3 runs because they've been sitting around for who knows how long.
yeah. I mean, I think it's kind of, he's got a double threat really. He's got the best batteries you can get, and they're the freshest. Because I mean,
Yeah,
obviously, I just missed out on an opportunity for batteries right now, so I'm gonna have
exactly.
to wait till the next run comes through.
And I think Paul's the same way. I mean, I don't
Yeah,
know about our ones. I mean, I don't know what any of those guys are doing or doing
yeah,
whatever, but for me, the R ones are too expensive. You know,
right.
compared to what else is out there that I could run.
Yeah,
And for me, it's a no brainer. It's EA's batteries, the local shop. It's right there. I don't got to order online. It supports the hobby shop.
it's
It helps
huge
keep our
support
doors
local.
open. It helps keep our doors
Exactly.
open by making sure he gets sales. So, you know,
Yeah.
why I run his batteries.
Well, I mean, that's
Plus,
why most
plus
of what
tech
I have
support's
now.
easy.
Yeah.
Tech support. I just walk
It's a
into
battery. There's
Camper
no
E.
tech support.
I just walk into Camper EA and be like, "Yo, it's not working right." Yeah.
Yeah, never had that happen though. It doesn't
Oh,
happen with a battery, dude. Don't lie.
no. Dude, I've let his batteries sit around for almost 4 months, charged them up, and they still work.
Yep, yep.
But no, man, I'm stoked for this weekend, man. I can't. I'm ready for it,
Yeah, I'm
and I
gonna
think
be
after this
uh
week,
I'm gonna be interested to see how quick you pick up the layout.
yeah.
You haven't run on
Well,
the Snowbirds layout at Apex yet, have you?
nope, dude. I haven't ran on the
Ooh,
Snowbirds layout, and I don't even know how long.
really?
Probably since the last time I went to Snowbirds. Even when they put it in at Apex, I don't run it because it only goes down for a short period of time, and then we go back and run the other way. So I don't want to mess with my mind running one way and then turn around and have to run back the other way.
I know it's so hard.
Uh,
Dude,
no,
what was it? I
no.
think I saw something the other day. Last time I was at Snowbirds was like 2017.
Last
Yeah,
time I went to Snowbirds.
2017.
Yeah, it's been a long time. I wanted to try to go. I wanted to try to go this year, but just
Yeah.
didn't have the money for it.
Yeah, I wanted to go too. Eh, I would have. Unfortunately, my dad's track decided that nobody wanted to actually run on road there. So I picked up his 12 scale off of him and all the stuff that he ended up picking up for it. So, hey, I mean, now I have two Automatics 12 scales. So if I get one, I can just pull another one out the bag.
I mean, that always works too. Or you can make a mod 12 scale and join camp.
Oh, that is something I will definitely kit. Although I will be interested. So, like
I don't know about the Automatics, man. The car's so easy to drive.
right, and it doesn't tweak like a regular 12 scale does. So, like, the issue that I had before when I tried mod 12 scale is one, I obviously hit shit, and two, like, dude, in mod, as soon as you hit something, it's done. You pick it up off the track, hopefully in one piece, and you go back and you detweak the entire freaking car. Like, you race for a minute or
Or you build
practice
a
for a
new
minute.
one.
Yeah, practice for a minute and then go rebuild your whole car.
Yeah.
I mean, granted, there's not a lot to a 12 scale, but still, like once you get through, back on setup station, detweaked and steering right, then I mean, I don't know, it was just too much of a hassle. I really think that was part of the reason that kept a lot of people from, just hopping into 12 scale.
Yeah. I mean, after watching, I mean, I know you talk about how you catch your 12 scale, but I've seen Kent send his flying a lot further than yours.
I
So
will have to admit he broke a 12 scale a lot harder than I did.
yeah, but I mean, with the Automatics, man, I've seen him hit things and go flying from one end of the track to the other,
Yeah.
land on the tires, and then keep getting and still hit the same lap times.
Yep.
It's like
Yep.
nothing's wrong with the car.
Yeah.
Uh,
I mean, personally, I've enjoyed 12 scale a lot more since the car came out.
I've actually been enjoying 12 scale a lot more, even when I was running my X-ray.
Yeah.
I actually, I don't. I feel like I don't know. I feel like maybe I'm a better 12 scale driver than sedan driver. I don't know why.
Yeah.
Because it used to be the other way around. I used to not be able to drive 12 scale, and I
Interesting.
don't know. I just I don't know if it's because the way it drives,
Yeah.
and I can drive it very aggressive. Where sedan, especially with the automatics, it doesn't seem like you have to drive it very aggressive. And I find myself being an aggressive driver. So
Okay.
it's like the 12 scale. I feel like I could drive it a lot harder, and it doesn't get super upset. So I wonder if it matches my driving style a little bit more.
Yeah, it definitely could. Or at least the way it's set up now matches the way that you naturally tend to drive.
Yes, but I've been enjoying 12 scale a lot more. I wish we ran 12 scale here a lot more.
Yeah.
But I get a lot of things with it with tires and everything. People can't keep affording to pay, you know, 60
Yeah.
bucks a weekend to race.
Yeah, I get that, but I think that's a little bit excessive. I mean, 12 scale tires are pretty cheap, and I think club racing, you can get a week, week and a half out of a good race set size, what a race set true down. Because I
Yeah.
mean, what we can true to like 40.8 in the rear and get, I mean, 6, 7 runs out of them.
And this is true.
I mean, and it's 12 scale too. So I mean, other than like you getting used to the layout, you don't really need to practice with it a whole lot because it, especially with the automatics, it's going to drive the same every week. I think I
True.
saw Kemp say he actually tweaked his, and it was what 8 screws to loosen and tighten back up in the rear end, and it was good to go again. So I mean, I know I at least have my
Well,
own 13.5 finally. So I'll be ready to run every week.
depends on how bad he tweaked it. What was it? 2, 4, 6,
Yeah. And then the two
8,
motor screws.
10.
No, no. Apparently that's too many screws. Apparently it's just the two for each side for the uprights or the bulkheads in the rear, and then the two for the axle holder, and then the
Yeah.
two for the motor. And those are supposed
Well,
to be
that's
the
all.
only ones that you have
That's
to
all
do.
I do. I didn't know if he was doing the dampener ones too.
Yeah, I don't think the damper can actually tweak. Funny thing is, so if you build the damper too narrow, it has the possibility to have one of those little pegs that sit in the damper arm to
Yeah.
pop out and get stuck. So I had to actually rebuild mine so it was wider so that wouldn't happen. I think some other people are actually putting shims on those the post or the mini half balls or whatever they are there.
Interesting.
Yeah, it's only the one side just because of how it sits.
Hmm.
Because if you look, it'll kind of go in, and then you have a ball. Like both balls are pointing in the same direction.
Yeah.
So I mean, as long
Mine's
as you keep
working
that
good.
one
So
side from
I
doing it,
ain't touching it.
yeah.
I just put the new green springs on the front.
Ooh. So I ran the green springs on my dad's car when I set it up, and it wasn't bad. It felt like when we did the black X-ray springs on the
Yes.
front.
That's what they're supposed to be close to equivalent as.
Yeah, but I actually like the harder. What are they? Are silvers harder? Yeah, the hard silver X-rays. I have those on the front of mine, and that's what felt locked in. I want to try the what are the new ones? Orange, copper, something like that.
I don't
Yeah,
know. EA gave me they're like point .9 silvers.
yeah. I'm pretty sure
And
the
then the greens I think are a 1-3.
yeah, yeah. So I think there's one more up from that that's an orange or a copper, and that is hopefully that'll be equivalent to the silvers. But I'm going to leave the heavy silver X-rays on there for now, so I can at least test it out and not screw up the whole car.
And then I'm not running the stock post on the front for camber.
What do you mean you're not running the stock post in the front?
Uh,
The thing that sets the camber? What do you?
yeah,
Oh, yeah, yeah. You're running more caster, aren't you?
yeah. The caster post.
Yeah. What ones are
I
you
think
running?
I think they're the fives or
Okay,
something. Can't remember exactly what they are unless I take it apart.
right.
But I switched to those too.
That should be good. As well, more caster on the front should be
More
maybe a
steering.
little tamer on entry and more coming out.
So if I can find it, I'll tell you which ones I'm running.
So I had somebody ask me come into the shop on Wednesday and like, hey, what if I was to get an F1, which one do you think right now? I was like, well, I think you can really be fast with most of the F1s. So I don't think you can go wrong, but I think if you don't get the Exotech one, you're gonna have a little bit harder time initially. Because like the Exotech one, I mean you felt it. As soon as it's set up and running, it's just freaking dialed in and it drives like a
I
freaking
mean,
touring car.
it's weird. It does. It drives like a touring car. It's very easy to drive. It doesn't get like weird upset like normal tool skills do.
Right.
Being cool.
Yep.
Um,
And even having those big massive freaking rubber tires on there.
oh, so those other front springs are a 1.7 orange.
Okay, okay. So we got some of those to play with too.
Trying to find. I think it's a 1.5
A one
for
five.
the camber piece. Trying to roll through Awesomatics is sorry, 6 degrees. They have a 6 degree, and I think they came out with a 5 degree.
Yeah, I think the 6 degree came out second. Pretty sure he got the
Yes,
five.
I think I got 5 degrees. Yes, I believe I'm running the 5 degree.
Right on. Did you notice a big difference when you went to the fives?
Car was a lot easier, a lot smoother to drive entering the corner, and it felt like it gave me more corner, more steering. Like not necessarily initial, but
Okay.
definitely mid to out of the corner. Like the car felt like it carved the corner a lot harder.
Okay. Yeah, that's usually the issue that I have with 12 scales, so they're just way too twitchy on entry for me.
Yeah, it seemed to well, because going to the black springs, the X-ray blacks, going to the harder spring with the 5 degree casters. I believe it's fives or they're sixes. It's on the bottom, and I don't want to take these apart. Can't
Yeah,
remember
yeah,
exactly
it was
what
fives.
they are. Um, It seemed with the black spring, going to that harder spring, it took a little bit of steering away, and it made the car not so nosy and divey,
Okay.
especially into the corner. And then going to the 5 degrees, and then I set it up at like the second hole or something like that. So I don't remember what my total was, um, full total
Right,
for
right.
my caster was. Um, but it felt like it gave, like as soon as I hit mid apex coming into the corner, it really grabbed the front end of the car and pulled it around out of the corner.
Okay.
So it was easy to drive. I could drive nice into the corner, and I could drive really aggressive through and out of the corner.
Okay.
What
Yeah,
it
that
felt
makes
like.
sense. I mean, I know when we first got the Osmatics 12 scales, like it was fine on entry, but then it just pushed like a freight train coming out. And I really
Yeah.
think like I think that's the only reason why we're seeing them up on the marketplace for sale right now. Like right out the gate in the US, it's not incredible. It's a little bit of a struggle, but it really only needs like a spring tweak on the front or more camber put in it.
I think I mean, I don't know, because I think everyone wants to get something and be able to throw it on the track and be fast.
Right.
So everyone, I feel they're like, all right, cool. They came out to 12 skill, let me get it. There's a lot of people, oh, I love it. And then you got the people that are like, oh man, this thing's fucking horrible. Well, how much time and effort did you actually put in to work on it? I mean, you got to also remember it's a new platform, it's a new car.
Hmm.
It's not like, the newer X-Ray that came out that was, still considered like the old platform where, you know, the learning curve's not as big as this car
Yeah,
because
exactly.
this car doesn't have a center shock.
Yeah.
It doesn't have side tubes.
Yeah.
It's the front end's different. So I don't think people want to take the time.
Yeah.
But with
I mean, I get that too. It's different for every racer. Not
exactly,
everybody
you
wants
know,
to do that. So,
but I think with this car, it's just that learning curve of trying to get it figured out and get it set up. I mean, for me, it's been great. I mean, I know here at Apex, we've had between um, you, me, Kemp, and EA throwing ideas off each other. I mean,
yeah.
EA's gone so fast with it. I mean, right out of the box. I mean, we were still on what was it, the Southern Nats layout, or was it for the
Something like
Aurora
that.
race? It was
Uh,
after one of the big races,
yeah, it was after one of them.
and he went out, put the car down right out of the box, and went almost a whole second faster on his overall time.
Right, right.
And then he just kept getting faster every time he worked on it.
Yeah. I
To
mean,
where I think by the end of it, by end of one of the runs, I think he was almost a whole lap on his 8-minute run.
yeah. Yeah, he was. He improved his whole run, I think by just over a lap. I mean, but
Yeah.
that's EA. Like he does 12 scale. That's his thing.
But the thing is he put the time in it. He tried shit.
Exactly. Yeah.
And that's the thing. I mean, it comes down, I think, like the last video we talked about, Kemp. Yes, it's EA. But at the same time, he's always trying something.
Yeah.
So he
Well, yeah.
understands, I think, the 12 scale more, but he's not just giving up, oh, well, this or that or whatever. Every time he puts the car down, he's got a new setup on it. And if it goes shit, then he goes back to what he had or tries something else
Yeah.
to where it improves the car.
Yeah, no, that's a really good point because like for me, like I can kind of do that with F1. Like I know enough about an F1 where I can throw it down on the track, I can start making changes and know what it should do and what it shouldn't do. Dude,
Yeah.
this touring car, I can make a change to it and I don't know which way it's going to go. Like I have no clue. So I'm just like randomly making changes with no direction.
Yeah, that's how I'm going to be with it. And, luckily enough, we've got the master Kim
Yeah.
who can help us out with that. But I mean, I think that's some of the other reasons why I haven't pulled the sedan apart yet because I need to keep
Yeah.
watching. I know G put up a video on how to rebuild the dampeners, and I need to go back and
Right.
watch that video
Yeah. I mean,
so
you
I
have
can
the
make sure I
ABCs,
do
so
it
it'll be
right.
a lot easier.
Yeah, but I need to
That'll
go
be
watch that
nice.
video so I can make sure I do it properly. and
Yeah.
get it done right.
Yeah. I think that's going to be a big key for everyone too. So, like when you're going and practicing and making changes, I think it's a good idea to write it down. Like I think I actually need to start writing it down for touring car because I don't know and I can't remember it. Like even week to week, month to month, there's stuff I forget about. But if I pick up an F1, I can tell you 5 changes to make to get what you need out of it.
Yeah. I think I need to do that too. I should probably go buy a notebook and start keeping notes.
Yeah. I mean,
It's
we
like
have
I
these
don't.
the smartphones we carry around everywhere. You can put notes on that too.
Sometimes I don't know, man. Pen and paper, a little better. Because I mean, what happens if your
A
phone breaks or
little more
something
better.
happens and you lose your notes? The next thing you know, you're like,
Dude, can you read your own handwriting?
can I read my no?
Yeah, yeah. So maybe. I mean, hey, dude, if you do like, if you do it on your iPhone, be like, I don't want to say the name because then it'll like kick off. But be like, hey Alexa, but it's not Alexa for iPhone. Can be like, hey, write me a note and start dictating it. I mean, that's kind of
Or
nice.
you could do what I did and pay the $4 for the Awesomatics app. They have edible uh, setup sheets in there.
Dude, I'm not
Dude,
buying that app.
dude, but it's nice. It keeps
But it's
everything
got a
in there.
stopwatch.
Exactly, it's got a stopwatch, man. So when you're on the driver's stand, you go by, you click, click, you
Wasn't
get
that
your laptop it's right then and there.
isn't that what your dad suggested on the first video? He was like, dude, just stopwatch it.
I'm not smart enough to use a stopwatch.
Dude, I'm barely smart enough to use a transponder, let alone use a stopwatch while I'm up on the driver's stand.
Dude, I'm lucky I could turn my radio a car on.
Right, right. Dude, actually, if it
Uh,
wasn't for Alex, I wouldn't know how to set up the timer on my remote that's in
there's
the
a timer on the
manual.
remote.
Yeah, the
Yeah.
M17. He's like, hey, just set a practice timer. I was like, yeah, I've been wanting to do that. How do you do that? He's like, this is how you do it. Perfect. Thanks, man. Thanks, Alex.
I find myself sometimes over driving the track with that. Like I go up to practice, and next thing you know, I've been out there for 10 minutes, and I'm like, and it only felt like I was out there for like three.
Yeah. Yeah, I think it's really good for to practice race awareness. That way you know how long a race is, really. Because I can't tell you how many times, especially like if a race gets really intense, you're like, "Oh my gosh, are we done yet?" It's been 2 minutes in. I was like, "Oh no. Oh no."
Yeah. Well, and I think even that just in general for anyone if they're going out to practice, I mean, does it really make you better to go out and go for 10 minutes? Because once you hit the 10
No.
minute mark, you're on such a low portion of the battery that,
So
yeah,
easy
you
to
could drive
drive.
the car because you don't have the power anymore.
Mhm.
To where
Yeah.
if you only go out there for, 6 minutes, because, figure a minute for warm up and then your 5 minute run and then you're done.
Yeah. Yep.
Or even 7 minutes. You could do a 7 minute run and be, close to okay. You're a minute on for warm up. You're 5 minutes or 6 minutes for your run, or 5 minutes for your run, and then a minute for waiting for that last person or waiting for everyone to be done.
Yeah. I mean, I know personally, when I go out and try to cut, my 6-minute practice sessions without the timer, uh, like I start right away because I know most big races we go to, you're lucky if you get a full lap to warm up. So I mean, I just want to
Yeah,
drop straight into it. Like I'll put my car down in the pit lane there, and just drive straight out and start going around. That way, I could get as much of a first lap warm up as possible, and then I just go to racing.
yeah, definitely
And make sure you don't run over other people on the track because not everybody's the
runs
same
over
speed on the track.
runs over people.
I mean, dude, I've seen it happen way too often where somebody runs over somebody else in practice. Like if you go out there in a 21.5 touring car and someone's out there in a mod touring car or even 17.5, when they come up on you, at least after the first time when you realize how fast they come up on you, understand that it's not helping either of you to hold your line for that lap. it's hurting you because you have some dude up your rear behind you, and it's hurting them because they can't get a good practice run in.
Dude, I don't know how many times I've gone out onto the track and it ends up screwing up my practice because the person won't move out of the way.
Yeah.
It's practice. You're not
Yeah.
racing. You're
Yeah,
not
yeah.
doing anything.
Yeah.
It's find a good section and just move over.
Yeah. I mean,
It's
I've
not
seen
that
too many
hard.
people, like, pull over and stop. I don't even think you need to do that. You
No,
know,
you just got to give up a good corner.
yeah. Any I think the hard part is defining what a good corner is. I think any tight slow turn is a good corner to give up. Like this, well, that one right there next to you, that one's a good
No,
one. Yeah. Dude, that one's a good one to give up. You go 2
no,
feet wide.
no.
Why is that not a good corner to give up?
Because here's the thing. You say tight and slow, but here's the
Okay.
problem with everyone. As soon as they go to let you by, they go full wood. And then they end up going full wood into you because you're having to slow down for the corner, or
Yeah.
they go full wood into the track.
Okay.
You need
So
to
I guess that
you need to pick a section on the track where there's the most room possible. So
yeah.
either coming through the sweeper, just go out a little bit wider, and then you
Yeah.
can tuck back into them, and then you guys are keeping the speed that when you go into the corner, they should be braking when you're braking, or you find another section where there's room on the track to be able to go a little bit wider. But that's the problem. Every single person, even pros at big races, or I should say guys who think they're pros, they go to let people by, and instead of rolling into the throttle or letting the car get back into the line and then getting back on it, everyone wants to go
Yeah.
full wood.
Mhm.
And
I think that's really the issue.
you see too many people that are either back markers or in practice that are slower, or even people who are experienced. They just grab way too much throttle, and it causes too many problems.
Right. Yeah, I really think it's trying to not lose time. It and I think this kinda goes back to what we talked about last week. You should know you gave up a corner, it's gonna cost you a couple tenths. It's not a big deal. If you try
Yeah,
to make it up by, like, ripping it and trying to get right back in behind it, you're gonna lose more time because your car is gonna be out of control and you're not running the right line at that time. And you're probably gonna if you hit him, that's gonna kill the whole lap and maybe your day, depending on if you break anything. And then if you don't hit him, you'll shoot wide for the next turn. So I mean, it's a lose lose situation.
yeah. I think a lot of people forget that the trigger goes both ways.
I mean, I've been there, done that. But
You
yeah,
know,
no, I think that's a real valid point. And I think practice is also a very easy time to practice letting people by
exactly.
because it's we say it's not hard, but it does take practice because I've seen people get nervous and then just like let off the throttle, and that's bad. Because
Yes.
like if I'm racing with you and you let off the throttle, I don't expect that. I'd never expect someone in front of me to let off the throttle, and I mean it's a good chance that we might collide at that point because your car is going to take a different trajectory. If you stay in it and move to the outside, your car naturally slows down, and you can even roll out of the throttle a little bit, and I'll be able to tuck right in. And I mean, really, anybody will be able to tuck in.
A
You
lot of
know,
times for me, what I try to do when I get behind someone,
yeah,
but again, I just think it's sometimes, especially in practice, everyone thinks they own the track. You
yeah,
know, everyone's paying, everyone's out there to practice, and people need
exactly,
to stop having the mentality that when they're out there, they own the track.
right,
You know, and it's like, well, they don't want to move it. You need to pass me. Well, it's practice. We're not racing for
yeah, yeah,
position. I'm doing something completely different than what you're doing, and obviously,
exactly,
I've caught you like you're standing still. So why are you holding me
yeah,
up? That like if
yeah,
someone comes, I don't know how many times I've been out there with the 17.5 and Kim's caught me with the mod, and I'm like, I'm just pulling over.
yeah,
I'm not get in his way, especially when I get ready to go down the straightaway. I'm like, oh shit, here we go.
Yeah.
You
Dude,
know,
I've been out there with a 17.5 and been caught by a 21.5 because I'm not having a good day, and I let them
exactly.
by. Like,
Yeah.
it doesn't matter, and I think that's another thing too, like, it doesn't matter how fast you perceive the other person to be, because that's not the issue. It's if they're right behind you, they have caught you. I mean, it's just like IFMAR racing. They've caught you, they're right behind you, scoot over, let them
I
by,
think
and you
it,
can continue your practice.
I think a lot of people forgot track etiquette and respect.
Yeah. I don't
And
really think it's taught the same anymore. I mean, we were taught because, our dads taught us.
no, wasn't for my dad. Dude, I don't
No?
know. When I first started racing, I feel like it's come to, these races. It's like all of a sudden now you need to make the racers happy.
Yeah.
But I don't know how many times back in the day you'd watch a lot of these pros. People were getting paid to
Yeah.
do this. If you did something, they'd call you out. The
Yeah.
announcer would call you out,
Well,
and tell you you're doing something you shouldn't be doing. Other
yeah.
racers would call you out. People would
Yeah.
put you in your place, and they would let you know that you're doing something you're not to. Now it's
Yeah.
like if you go to call someone out or say something, it's everyone wants to cry and be like, "Oh, well, I'm not just going to race, or I'm going to this, or I'm going to that."
I mean, we
And
say that, but I've gone to new racers, especially after they have, maybe one of their first runs and be like, "Hey, if somebody's coming up on you like that, you need to scoot over because right now you guys aren't on the same clock and you just hurt
yeah,
both of your times." And
yeah,
and I think people are still receptive to it. I think it all comes down to how you come across with it. Because I mean, if
yeah,
you're a jerk about it, nobody wants to come to the racetrack and just be bitched at. If
yeah.
you come up and be like, "Hey, man, you know, good run. Etiquette is to do this," or I mean,
Well, yeah,
there's lots of ways to
you
approach it
handle
without being a dick.
local. I think you handle local racing differently than you do big racing.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, speaking of
And
big
I
racing
think
too, the full throttle champs in Texas, they uh what was it? Scotty announced it, and I was watching the 12
yeah,
scale run, and he was calling people. He's like,
yeah,
"Hey, that's." He was even called back to like third and fourth place. He's like, "Hey, you need to let him by. Hey, you need to let him by." And they roll back on the throttle too hard. He'd be like, "Hey, you need to give him some breathing room."
yeah.
We
Yeah,
definitely, yeah,
I think there's some announcers out there that are good with that kind of stuff, but I think there's I've been to some races where sometimes they're just I don't know if they want to be there, they're not having a good day, I don't know what it is, but
right,
they don't call anything,
right,
and I think it needs to get back to I think racers, especially on the tracks, need to be held a lot more accountable for their racing and their
yeah,
actions.
yeah. And we just need to hold ourselves and our buddies that we race with more accountable.
Exactly.
Yeah, I think that's a good place to let it stop and marinate. Let everybody sit on that one for a week. Maybe get another one out a little quicker, but we'll kind of see how this weekend goes and report back. Let everyone know.
Definitely. I mean, I also think with internet here and with all that kind of stuff, if anyone's got comments or anything they want to put out there, don't
Yeah,
hesitate to comment on the
yeah,
videos or the page and put some input
yes.
out there.
Dude, that's huge. Like, I really appreciate everybody that came up and said something to me in person or through Messenger. Please leave those comments on the video, on the YouTube, whether it's Facebook, some other place. Do that because that helps the algorithms and all that stuff say, "Hey, you guys actually watched this and paid attention a little bit, maybe."
Well, not even that, it also gives us some input.
Yes.
Like it can also give us topics that maybe people want to hear
Yeah.
or talk
What else
about
you
or
want to hear
anything
about?
like that. Um,
Yeah,
so yeah, man, leave
definitely.
comments.
Like, comment, subscribe.
Do it
Later.
out.